There is a single question that changes everything, and it comes to most people in small doses. A flicker when you look up at the sky, a small itch when you read a sentence that refuses to let go, a private nudge when you wonder if there is more to learn than you have been taught. This question is simple and it is old. Why should I care? And the answer is the engine that built civilization, curiosity. Curiosity is not a hobby, it is a tool. It is a discovery engine embedded in the wiring of our minds. And when it runs, it connects us to the deep processes that shape the cosmos and shaped us. Stars forging heavy elements, molecules assembling, minds exploring. Curiosity is the same force on many scales. It pushes life to try, to test, to iterate, and to invent. Imagine a telescope pointing toward a faint patch of sky. The instrument alone does nothing until curiosity points it. Curiosity frames a question. Who is out there? What is that glow? What pattern hides in the noise? And with that question, the telescope becomes meaningful. Data begins to accumulate. Models are proposed and discarded. Slowly understanding grows. This is how knowledge expands in science. Curiosity converts the unknown into a sequence of solvable puzzles, and the same logic applies to your life, one question at a time. Curiosity is not blind optimism. It is disciplined attention. It is a method, and it can be trained the way a muscle is trained. When you train it, you change the odds of your future. Small acts of wonder lead to exploration. Exploration leads to practice. Practice rewires the mind, and over years the accumulation can be enormous. Tiny questions asked repeatedly bend probability toward discovery and growth. There is a pattern in nature that we can borrow. It is the principle of feedback. Stars grew by accreting matter that increased their gravity. Life evolved by variations that produce better fit. Human knowledge advances by questions that create experiments. Feedback lets systems learn and adapt. You can create a personal feedback loop by asking something small and testing it. You then measure, learn, and adjust. This simple loop turns curiosity into a reliable method for improving your life. You are probably thinking that curiosity is for scientists or for children, but it is not reserved for one group of people. Curiosity is the working part of any creative mind. It is the reason a carpenter improves a tool, the reason a parent tries a new way of explaining a task, the reason an entrepreneur experiments with a different approach. Everyone uses curiosity. The question is whether you use it by chance or by design. There is a practical payoff to adopting a curious habit. People who stay curious discover solutions before problems grow large. They see opportunities where others see obstacles. They become better learners and better friends. Curiosity improves conversation because it replaces judgment with questions, and that alone increases the quality of relationships. If you can ask a good question, you can unlock a human being and discover motivations that are invisible to those who only listen to reply. Curiosity is also the antidote to fear in many cases. Fear thrives on certainty about bad outcomes. Curiosity turns fear into exploration. When you ask why a fear exists, you reveal its assumptions. When you test those assumptions, you reduce their power. You replace a dramatic narrative with an experiment, and that experiment either proves the fear useful or frees you from it. One reason curiosity scales so well is that it compounds. Not unlike interest in a bank account, a small practice repeated daily yields large returns over time. Reading a single paragraph that challenges your view. Asking one question to a stranger. Trying one small experiment each week. These tiny acts accumulate and change who you are. And the surprising part is that the accumulation is mostly invisible while it is happening, but noticeable when you compare your present to the person you were a year earlier. Curiosity also rewires the brain. Neuroscience shows that novelty and learning cause chemical changes that strengthen connections. When you subject the mind to new patterns, it forms new pathways, and those pathways make future learning easier. This is not mystical, it is biological. It is the same principle that lets children learn languages easily and makes adults more stubborn. You can choose to keep the youthful wiring by creating environments that favor novelty and low-stakes experiments. If you want to test curiosity in a practical way, I have a simple challenge for you that will take only a week and will change how you move through your days. For 7 days, choose one small domain you are slightly curious about but have ignored. It can be the life cycle of an everyday object, a short history of a city block, the basics of a scientific idea, or a new type of music. And for 10 minutes each day, read, watch, or listen, and write one surprising thing you learned. That evening, pick one question that followed the new info and pursue it for 10 minutes the next day. This loop of learn, question, and pursue will give you immediate feedback, and you will notice the shift in attention within days. You will also notice that curiosity improves decision quality, because when you operate from curiosity, you ask for more data before you commit. You slow down in useful ways, and you make fewer regretful choices. Curiosity delays closure, and that delay can be the difference between a hasty decision and a wise one. We often mistake speed for efficiency, but in complex environments, a little extra information is a practical hedge against predictable errors. Curiosity has a social dimension too. It is contagious. If you bring a genuine question into a room, others often respond with their own curiosity. Conversations become collaborations, and networks of learning form organically. So one person asking good questions can catalyze learning. Across a group, this is how scientific cultures grow. Clusters of curiosity create innovation hubs. And the same dynamic is true in small teams and families. Yet curiosity must be balanced by discipline. Random wondering without testing can become shallow and exhausting. Curiosity with no follow-up produces trivia rather than knowledge. The key is curiosity plus iteration. Ask a question. Gather a small set of data. Test a tiny change. Measure the outcome. Repeat. This cycle is the scientific method in miniature, and it is practical for everyday life. A powerful way to adopt curiosity is to create micro-projects. Pick a project that is too small to intimidate you, a project that is boring on most days but interesting on a few. Projects like maintaining a plant, cataloging a street full of architecture, or building a tiny script that automates a small task. The daily practice of tending a project gives you problems to solve, and these problems train your curiosity into sustained creativity. There is an economic angle to curiosity as well. Markets and technologies reward novelty. People who learn new skills or who can adapt quickly capture advantages. Curiosity, therefore, is not only intellectually noble, it is pragmatic. The skill of learning fast is a key economic asset in a world where knowledge evolves rapidly. Curiosity also protects meaning. People who stay curious find purpose in small discoveries, and purpose is a reliable source of satisfaction compared to fleeting pleasure. This is why lifelong learners often report greater happiness, because the act of discovering binds them to a story larger than immediate consumption. Curiosity feeds narrative, and narrative supports meaning. I want to address a common worry. Some people believe that curiosity makes life uncertain, and therefore unsafe. The reality is subtle. Curiosity exposes uncertainty, but it is precisely the mechanism that lets you navigate it by learning. You reduce uncertainty, and by testing you increase safety. The perceived risk of change decreases as knowledge accumulates, and this is how societies move from superstition to technology. Curiosity is also moral in a quiet way. Asking rather than assuming makes space for empathy. When you ask someone about their perspective, you show them you value their interior life. This simple act reduces conflict and increases cooperation. Curiosity and humility are practical partners, and together they make better citizens and better neighbors. Let us consider a short historical example to illustrate how curiosity scales. In a distant past, an artisan noticed a pattern in metal and experimented with heat and cooling. That curiosity led to better tools. That improved tools increased agricultural productivity. That productivity supported cities. And those cities became places where specialized expertise could flourish. This cascade from a small observation to a civilization scale effect is the essential story of human progress. It is not inevitable, it is the outcome of repeated small experiments by curious minds. There is an aesthetic pleasure to curiosity as well. The first time you truly understand an ordinary thing, you experience a kind of delight. A spoon becomes not just a spoon, but a product of metallurgy, design, and human need, and that delight is its own reward. Curiosity therefore functions both as instrument and as source of joy. You can cultivate this joy by intentionally seeking the hidden stories of the everyday. As curiosity becomes a habit, you will also find it changes how you consume media. Instead of passively absorbing headlines or threads, you will look for sources, for method, and for the assumptions behind claims. You will ask what experiment or evidence supports an assertion, and this skeptical curiosity protects you from misinformation. It is a kind of intellectual hygiene that keeps the mind healthy. Now, there is one final paradox to confront. Curiosity can lead to uncomfortable truths. Sometimes probing reveals flaws in our beliefs or painful gaps in our knowledge. This discomfort is not a reason to stop. It is a reason to proceed more carefully. Curiosity with courage grants you a clearer view of the terrain and better tools to navigate it. The short-term discomfort buys long-term clarity and freedom. So let me summarize the practical next move. Adopt a 7-day curiosity challenge. Pick a domain. Invest 10 to 15 minutes a day in focused exploration. Record one surprising fact and one question. Test one small experiment or follow one new thread. And at the end of 7 days, measure what changed in your thinking or in your routine. This will give you a clear signal about how curiosity shifts attention, why small experiments matter, and how slowly accumulated practice rewires your responses. When you run that experiment, notice how the process mirrors scientific work at the smallest scale. You pose a hypothesis, you gather data in tiny increments, you refine your model, and you repeat. This is the same loop that mapped the motion of planets and developed vaccines. The only difference is that you are applying it to your inner world, and that application turns wonder into reliable progress. There is a helpful image to carry with you. Imagine your mind as a field of dark matter with pockets of potential energy waiting for the right question to collapse them into form. Each question is a small seed of organization. It triggers local coherences, and over time, those seeds arrange into patterns that guide your decisions. This is how a cosmic scale of possibility becomes the architecture of an ordinary life. Curiosity also functions as a form of mental risk management. By deliberately sampling a variety of small unknowns, you reduce the chance of being blindsided by large surprises. Imagine explorers mapping coastlines with small probes rather than sending a single ship into a storm. The probes reveal currents, shoals, and safe harbors, and you adjust your course with lower cost and greater confidence. This strategy scales well because it is cheap to iterate when you keep the experiments small. There is another consequence worth noting. Practicing curiosity amplifies your capacity for creative problem solving. When you habitually ask why and how, you create a cognitive reservoir of associations. the mind begins to link distant facts in useful ways. You start seeing metaphors and structural similarities where others see only isolated facts. This associative capacity is the engine behind innovation, and it is available to anyone who cultivates it with patience. On the social level, curiosity improves conversation and cooperation. Asking a considered question signals respect for the other person's interior life. It invites explanation rather than argument, and over time it builds networks of shared inquiry. Small clusters of curiosity form the local ecosystems where good ideas are tested and improved. These are the micro-communities that scale into libraries, labs, and institutions, and they are the social soil in which lasting projects grow. If you prefer a single practical habit to carry forward, try this. Each morning, spend 5 minutes listing 3 things you do not understand about your immediate environment. They can be tiny. Why a plant leans, why a street is routed as it is, why a feature on a product exists, then pick one and spend 10 focused minutes learning the reason. This tiny ritual trains attention, builds momentum for longer projects, and over weeks it transforms the ordinary into a continuous source of discovery. Endings in science are seldom final conclusions. They are invitations to further inquiry, and the same should be true for your life. Treat each discovery as a waypoint rather than a destination. Let curiosity be the method you use to keep refining your map. And remember that the cosmos that produced our minds also offers the patient conditions for their development. You are part of a process that spans deep time, and within that process your small experiments matter. They ripple outward in ways you will only fully see much later. Continue testing with humility and wonder, and let curiosity shape the life you are quietly constructing.